Hello, good evening, leaders. Thank you very much for coming today for this short 1 hour orientation. As I said, we are starting at exactly 6 o'clock and it's 6 o'clock, and I'd like us to start. So, can someone pray for us? Anyone should pray for us so that we start this orientation. Please, whoever wants to pray for us, just unmute yourself and pray for us to start. Yes, hello. Moses, I think you want to pray for us. So just proceed to pray for us.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Please close your eyes and let us pray. Mighty everlasting Father, we thank you for this day like this. We thank you for everything you have been doing in our lives, Lord. Once again, pray and commit this meeting to your hand. Once again, we pray that as we are about to begin this meeting, thing that we are going to do here, success should come out of it. Pray for a successful ending. We pray that everything that we are going to partake in here will be something that will be part and parcel of our lives. In Jesus' name, I pray with my thanksgiving. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much for your prayer, and we can proceed to business. So the second thing on our agenda is welcome address. I am John Samega Shebiglo, and I'm also the executive director of Youth Impact Movement, founder as well. I'm currently speaker of the parliament in Ghana. I want to welcome you to this orientation. We have learned lessons from forming the second parliament, and we don't want to make that mistake again. So, as much as possible, we want to orient our people and show them the work so that they will not have any excuse. And for any orientation program that we'll do, we are as well recording it so that if you miss, you can go and watch it. So, as you can see, the nominations are not final. We are still reviewing it. And if some people are not befitting the nomination we have given them, we can withdraw the nomination before the inauguration. So for today, we'll tell each of you who we have nominated for the leadership positions. But if anyone we have so nominated is not ready to do the job, we withdraw the nomination before the inauguration and appoint another person. So we are doing this orientation so that we'll be sure that each of you are ready for this job. It is a very serious job that we are doing, although voluntary. But what you are going to gain from this money cannot pay. So we doing an introduction. We'll tell you the people that we are appointing, and then at the inaugural preparations, we'll show you their pictures. As I said, we are still reviewing. So when we read the orientation session, we'll take you through your constitutional duties. Each and every officer will take you through your constitutional duties. We talk about discretionary duties, talk about our expectations towards you, the opportunities that we have for you, and the preparations for the inaugurations. Then from there, you can ask your questions, your contributions, and corrections. Then we'll go for closing prayer and closing remarks. Everything is supposed to be done within an hour. By 7 o'clock, we want to close. So this is the program that we have for today. And I want to welcome you all once again. So from here, I would like us to proceed to business because time is not on our side and we take your time very diligently. So we are not ready to waste any time at all. At all, at all, at all. Now, looking on your screen, you can see clearly the current people over here, the patrons. We only have 5 patrons that we have appointed since last year. Their tenure is 2 years. We have already appointed them. Mr. Simon Mesa Apoga, Honorable Peter Nochikote, Honorable Kofi Atto, Honorable Eternam James Lulu, and Honorable Divine Richard Bosom. It's a very unique combination, and each of them have been very helpful. We have no regrets appointing any of them. They have lived up to expectations. Now, for the executive board, their appointment is 2 years for the administrative and finance director. But the executive director and the deputy executive directors are founders and co-founders. Therefore, they don't have a tenure limit until they say they will not serve again. They continue serving. But for the directorship, their actual tenure is 2 years. And the leader of each of our chapters, either in the foundation or in the parliament, becomes a member of an ex officio to our executive board. So as you can see Speaker of Uganda, YIP, you can see Speaker of India, YIP, you can see Speaker of Ghana, YIP, and Chief Officer of YIF are all ex officio to our executive board. So the current executive director is myself, John Samiga Shibiglo. And then we have Raymond Elikemago, deputy in charge of humanitarian affairs, and Amano Dina, deputy in charge of parliamentary affairs. We have Priscilla Freyada, who is our administrative director, and the tenure has not ended, so they are just continuing, same as Benedicta Jeke. Yes, so that is for the executive board. Those appointments started since last year. It's just the ex-official members that get reviewed due to their appointment. Now, the executive committee for the foundation, we are forming the foundation, their tenure is just 1 year. So the first executive committee is ending their tenure on 13th August. And 12th August, we'll swear a new one in. There will be the second executive committee for Youth Impact Foundation. We have Harry Senanu Abudi as chief officer, Bryce Vixen as administrative officer. The financial officer is Roger Ayaovizonve. Communication officer is Dina Mateko Seiko. Operations officer is Mark Bless Damevenu. Now coming to the third parliament, I'm equally going to continue as speaker for Ghana. Then our clerk is going to be Cyril Kekeli Amevo. We are going to have Ifwa Damsewa Osei as Deputy Clerk Operations, Mary Teteka as Deputy Clerk Finance, Victoria Harrison as Deputy Clerk Publicity, Assistant Clerk Affairs Hetty Selassie Afenyo, Assistant Clerk Accounts Perpetua Ariam Agbo Meke, Assistant Clerk Relations, we are going to have Nelly Euphoria Champon. Marshal, we are going to have Benjamin Kaitu, Deputy Marshal Physical Security Moses S.A. Manu. I think the SA is 2SE, right? Is it SA Manu or SA Manu? So you correct us if we are wrong. Deputy Marshal Information Security Isaiah Guludo, Deputy Marshal Emergency Response Richmond Agbalevu, and Deputy Marshal VIP Protection Daniel Kofi Gaku. And then the leadership that will be MPs, First Deputy Speaker Deborah Nana Abatewia, Second Deputy Speaker Enoch Kwame Sodoji, Majority Leader Francis Kwame Koji, Minority Leader Hubert Agbahode, Deputy Majority Leader Wanda Nicodemus Jamisi, Deputy Minority Leader Godwin Yaokwashi. So we also have, when it comes to the Deputy Majority Chief Whip, Selom Agbavo, Minority Chief Whip, we are going to have Bright Selom Vixen, First Deputy Majority Whip Grace Fafali Adbele, First Deputy Minority Chief Whip Believer Goso, Second Deputy Majority Whip Dina Mateko Seko, and then Second Deputy Minority Whip Janet Elon Magbezuke. So these are our proposed leadership for the new leaders that we are going to swear in on that day. The new leaders that will swear in on that day. So that is it for you to know. And as I said, we are still reviewing the appointments. So initially we set the last sitting to see those who will turn up to show their commitment. But at the end, the attendance does not really start over there. But we are still looking, and we want to call on the leaders of each of the offices to question the nominees or their subordinates if indeed they are going to serve. Because if they are not going to serve, then let us change them and you nominate someone to replace them. Because at the end, they are under you. Each of the offices, the leader over there is supposed to question whether or not this person is going to serve. If the person cannot meet our expectations, then it's best we change the person before 12th August. So we are calling on for all the leaders for each, they have our assurance, but their subordinates, we are having issues with some of them. We don't see them to live out to expectations. So it's up to them to prove us that they will live out to expectations. So we are calling on the leaders of each of these leadership group to inspect and have one-on-one conversation with each of the subordinates. So office of the Marshal, you call each of them, have a conversation with them, whether they are ready to do the job and they will be at every sitting of the house. The majority leader, call all of them, have a conversation. If they are going to live up to expectations, if they are not, then we change them. The minority leader, you also do same. Clerk, you also do same. Call your 6 subordinates if they are going to live up to expectations. Chief officer, call them if they are going to live up to expectations. Speaker as well, my deputies. For me, they at my side for office of the speaker. I'm convinced with my deputies, and as executive director, convinced with my subordinates. So it's up to the other offices to ensure that their subordinates are going to live up to task. Okay. So now, when you go on the program for the day, we are going to now have. Are going to now have. So now we are coming to start the entire orientation sections. We have already spent 12 minutes. We have already spent 12 minutes. Oh, what's going on? Yes, and now I would like us to move to the first item. Oh, I lost connection. I don't know what happened. Okay, can you all hear me? Can you all hear me? I hope I can be heard.
Yes,
Okay,
I can hear you.
very good. So,
Yes. We can hear you.
very good. So now we are moving to
Yes, we can hear
item
you.
4, which is constitutional duties.
Yeah,
And
we can hear you.
we deal with discretionary duties. So as I talk about the constitutional duty, I'll go through to talk about the discretionary duties of each of them, their expectations, and so I'll talk about ABC when I'm dealing with each of the offices. I'm going to take them from the top to the down. Okay, so that's how we are going to do it. We are taking ABC at the same time for each of the offices. We have revised the constitution and then the standing orders so that there will be clarity of duties. So that there will be clarity of duties. They have revised them all so that there will be clarity of duties. Because at the end, if your duty is not well defined, then you can have a case that no, you have not clearly told me my job. You have not clearly told me my job, and I don't know what to do. Yes, but if that is done very well, then you don't have any excuse whatsoever. You don't have any excuse whatsoever. Yes. Okay. So this is the constitution of YIM that you can see over here on your screen. We are working on copies of the constitution and the standing orders for all of you on that day. So you are going to get them all. And when you come to the executive director, my duty as executive director is obviously to head the movement, be the appointing authority of the movement, chief spokesperson, ensuring that the aims and objectives become a reality, be the primary signatory to the council, oversee functionality of all directors and branches of the movement, assent to bills from the parliament, and then policy documents from the foundation, represent the movement in external engagements, partnership, and collaborations, present a report on the state of the movement prior to the end of each year. So that's the general meeting that at the end of each year, the movement holds a general meeting and then also provide overall leadership and strategic direction to the movement and its branches. Now, the movement has 2 branches, humanitarian branch, which is the parliament, youth impact parliament, and then humanitarian branch, which is the foundation. and then parliamentary branch, which is what Youth Impact Parliament. So the humanitarian branch has a deputy executive director in charge of that branch, which is the one in charge of humanitarian affairs. So all YIP chapters, all YIF chapters, all Youth Impact Foundation chapters will be under the direct coordination of the deputy executive director in charge of humanitarian affairs. So what does he do? So he assists the executive director in the performance of his duties, acts in the absence of the executive director, lead and oversee humanitarian initiatives and projects within the movement. Projects within the movement. He also coordinates with Youth Impact Foundation, partner organizations, NGOs, and government agencies to collaborate on humanitarian projects, identify funding opportunities, and manage resources for the humanitarian programs, develops and implements strategies to address social issues, promotes community development, and supports marginalization groups along with Youth Impact Foundation, represent the movement in humanitarian forums, and then perform any other function or activity that may be assigned to him by the executive director. So at the end, basically, he is kind of a frontliner for humanitarian activities in the movement. And obviously, the reason why it looks like he has the duty of Youth Impact Foundation is because Youth Impact Foundation is more geographical. The foundation can have chapters in Ghana, Togo, and then all those. So because he oversees, that is why his duty is also within that lane, so that he can properly oversee over all the chapters of Youth Impact Foundation. But as of now, we only have the Ghanaian chapter. I was actually thinking about us having the Southern Ghanaian chapter and the Northern Ghanaian chapter. But for now, we only have one chapter. So that is the duty of the deputy executive director in charge of that. And his discretionary powers are quite little. By the end, he supervises, so he could obviously question the chief officer what they are doing, and then all those. He could ask questions, and then all those. And then our expectations obviously is for him to guide each of the chapters of Youth Impact Foundation to do their best. Yes, so that is it. Now moving to the Deputy Executive Director in charge of Parliamentary Affairs. So he assists the Executive Director in the performance of his duties, acts in the absence of the Executive Director and then Director in charge of Humanitarian Affairs, coordinates engagements of the movement with parliamentary processes and activities along with Youth Impact Parliament, identify funding opportunities and manage resources for parliamentary programs, establish relationships with parliamentarians and committees to advocate for youth and concerns, develops position paper, policy briefs and recommendations on relevant legislative matters in consultation with Youth Impact Parliaments, represent the movement in parliamentary forums. So just like how the Deputy Executive Director is in charge of humanitarian affairs along with Youth Impact Foundation, it is similar for the Deputy Executive Director in charge of parliamentary affairs. So he has to work with Youth Impact Parliament. Now, Youth Impact Parliament as a branch has 3 chapters as of now. The Ghanaian chapter, which is the main chapter, the Uganda chapter, and then the Indian chapter. So his responsibility is to coordinate all of them to ensure that what they do their best. So they are all under the Deputy Executive Director in charge of Parliamentary Affairs. So his discretionary powers is just to ensure that there is harmony between what Youth Impact Parliament and all these chapters, and for it to ensure that things are going on well. Our expectations is that he can guide the entire branch to work well and things to go on well. So that is how we have redefined the duty of our Deputy Executive Director in charge of Parliamentary Affairs. Now, our Administrative Director, that one is clearly clerical. So he's the chief scribe of the movement. So as you can see, the current administrative director, which is Dr. Priscilla Freyadai, appends all our letters because she's the chief scribe. She's the chief scribe. She's in charge of all correspondence and implements administrative policies and procedures. An optional signatory to the account, register all members of the movement, acts as official spokesperson at whereas requested by the executive director, oversees management of logistics, administrative processes to ensure smooth running, provides support to other directors in administrative, human resources, and documentation, collaborates with other directors for effective coordination and communication, and perform any other function. So clearly, administrative director is clerical. And now, after the administrative director is the last director, who is the finance director. So the finance director is the financial controller of the movement, responsible for all financial transactions of the movement, and is a secondary signatory of the accounts. A secondary signatory of the accounts is a acts in the absence of the administrative director, official spokesperson, whereas requested is the official spokesperson, whereas requested, and whereas requested, he manages. So whereas requested, manages the financial resources and budgets of the movement, develop financial strategies, policies, and procedures in line with the movement, prepares and monitors annual budget, financial reports, and financial statements. So obviously, it's within the financial line. Yes, so that is it. And obviously, anything financial is being given, so that's discretionary to ensure that our finances are just on point. And then our expectation is that you do well, and then you're always available for us. And the current is Ms. Benedita Jeke. So that is it for the movement. The movement actually has, as I told you, an executive board, and the executive board is the highest decision making body at the movement level. Yes, so that is it basically. That is it basically. Now, moving on straight to the foundation, Youth Impact Foundation. Youth Impact Foundation. So, Youth Impact Foundation, as you know, they also have 5 officers: Chief Officer, Administrative Officer, Financial Officer, Communication Officer, and Operations Officer. Now, the Chief Officer of the foundation is the head and the chief spokesperson of the foundation. So that chapter of the foundation, yes, the chief officer can be many, just as the speakers could be many per their chapters. The chief officers could be many. So for that particular chapter, we only have the Ghanaian chapter. Is the head and the chief spokesperson for the foundation, provide overall leadership and management for that chapter of the foundation, develop and implement strategic direction and objectives for that chapter of the foundation, oversees the work of other officers of the foundation to ensure effective operations, represent the foundation in external engagements and meetings and events, coordinate and collaborate with stakeholders, partners, donors, and supporters, present a report on activities twice, mid and then end within a year, twice a year, and perform all other functions as will be given. So discretionary powers is basically to ensure that things are going well, just to ensure things are going well. And then if there's something that is not captured in his or her discretion, you ensure that it just goes on well. So that is it, and we expect that the movement is not really being, should I say, not on a good path, but at the end, we believe if the second executive committee to move on well. The next is the administrative officer of the foundation. So basically, clerical duties. So clerical keep a register of donors, supporters, collaborators, and partners, ensure smooth running, including office management and documentation. So clerical, basically clerical. And when it comes to the financial officer as well, these are financial duties: keep a book of transaction, manage the financial resources, develop and implement financial strategies, and then also yes, act in the absence of the operations officer. I think that should rather be changed. It's supposed to be no, okay. Act in the absence of the operations officer. Hmm. I don't think it should be so. I don't think it should be so that he should act in the absence. I think his field is quite different, so is on his own. Yeah, so it's on its own over there. So that function has been removed. So basically financial. Then the next person is communication officer, and the communication officer of each of the chapter of the movement is to ensure that what official spokesperson acts in the absence of the administrative officer, and then communication strategies handle media, create and manage internal and external channels, a press release, and then all those. And then yes, so all the publicity duties are for the communication officer. The publicity duty are for the communication officer. Operations officer, all the operation and then organizing duties under him, smooth running of projects, programs, and events, partnership, and then all those. So basically, the foundation is to ensure that we get things going under the foundation. So just to be sure, all that they are supposed to do as an executive committee is stated clearly here. Functions of the executive committee. So assist the chief officer in directing the affairs of the foundation, ensure realization of the objectives of the foundation, assess supporters, engage donors, approve partners and collaborators for the foundation, form ad hoc committees where the need arise, and perform any other function as prescribed by the constitution. So that is it for Youth Impact Foundation. So we are still looking at whether or not we should split, have a northern chapter of Youth Impact Foundation. But at the end, a decision is not reached yet. But whatever be the case, this we only have one chapter, which is the Ghanaian chapter. So they are looking at that as well. Now it's 6:28, and we are moving to the Parliament. The Parliament. For the Parliament, your standing orders is quite big, but everything is clearly stated there to guide you. So whoever will be the speaker will preside over sittings of Youth Impact Parliament in that chapter, represent Youth Impact Parliament in official capacities, facilitate debate, votes, and decision making for the movement, facilitate debate, and then all those for the movement, be the head of Youth Impact Movement and all officers, supervise all officers, ensure that the aims and the objectives are fulfilled and become a reality, provide guidance, provide guidance. Okay. Provide guidance to parliamentarians and ensure fair and impartial proceedings, issue statements at where necessary on any matter that he or she deems fit worth, be assisted by two deputies, the first deputy and the second deputy speakers respectively, and perform any other duty. So whoever is the speaker of each branch, each chapter of Youth Impact Parliament is to perform these duties. So he obviously heads that chapter of Youth Impact Parliament. So as of now, you know that we have three chapters. Our main chapter is the Ghanaian chapter, well established. Then after is the Uganda chapter that they are still in the pilot parliament. For the Indian chapter, we only have the speaker as of now, who is Bandaru Shaka, and he's now looking for the members. But it is progress that we are making, and it is good progress, if I may say, because at the end, unlike other parliaments that they have regional parliaments, we have international branches. So a here for that. I think we are doing well. So that is it for the speaker, and then the next person. So the discretionary already know, because all of you, majority of you are parliamentarians. Those of you who are new, the speaker is the head. The speaker also chairs the Parliamentary Service Board, which is the highest decision making body in the entire parliament. We'll get there as well. After this, someone should remind me to cover the duties of an MP as well. So the deputy speakers, as you can see, the deputy speakers clearly are two. For this particular standing orders is for our Ghanaian chapter. For the standing orders, whenever a chapter is established, we have to get them their own standing orders. Yes, because the parliamentary system in a country might differ from another one. The parliamentary system in a country might differ from another one. So for a youth impact parliament, whenever we establish a branch, we need to work on their separate standing orders. But for our Ghanaian chapter, which is the main chapter of youth impact parliament, there shall be two deputy speakers, one from majority and one from minority. So first deputy speaker from majority caucus, second deputy from minority caucus. The deputy speaker shall assist the speaker in the performance of his or her duties. First of all, they are MPs. I think because they are MPs, I want to read the duties of youth MPs because for the leaderships who are MPs, they are first MPs before we add the leadership. So due to that, we have reduced the workload at the leadership side so that you can have, you should be able to perform the two. So duties of an MP is here. Duties of an MP. Now, as a youth MP, it is incumbent on you to attend parliamentary sittings and participate in parliamentary debates and discussions. Some youth MPs like observing too much. But for the leaders, please, before the end of the sitting, you should be able to say something. You cannot observe throughout. If you are a leader and you don't like talking, I'm not sure the job is for you. The MPs who are going to be leaders, it is incumbent on you to participate during parliamentary debates. Yes, because you are a front bencher. Each of the leaders who are MPs are front benchers. So it is incumbent on you to participate when you come to sittings. So please note that. For the leaders who are non-MPs, it is only the speaker that actually speaks until they are given the opportunity. Now, you are supposed to serve in parliamentary committees to study and scrutinize specific policy areas. So each MP is going to be part of at least one standing committee and one select committee. One standing committee and one select committee. And all the leaders are going to be part of one standing committee and one select committee, except the majority and the minority leader, who are basically part of four standing committees. So they are not part of any select committee. Yes. The speaker is also not part of any select committee, just one standing committee. You are supposed to assist in the realization of the aims and objectives of this youth parliament. So these are the duties of an MP. The leaders who are MPs have to first fulfill their MP duties, attache their leadership duties. So you are supposed to assist in the realization of that. And then also, when we come to the next one, build knowledge and understanding of parliamentary process, procedures, and governance. You, the leaders, must have an adequate understanding of the parliamentary process, procedures, and governance. You should have an appreciative knowledge about these things. So you, the leader, must be ahead of the game. And then what? Networking with other youth MPs, parliamentarians, and stakeholders. If in case you don't know, in the case you don't know, I save the contact of all MPs. So I think you, the leader, should at least save contact of all your caucus members. You, the 5 leaders of each caucus, should at least be able to save the contact of all your members. It helps you to better, coordinate with them. So I, as speaker, I save the contact of all youth MPs. All youth MPs. The second parliament, I save the contact of all the ones we have sacked and the ones that are still around. So the leaders, front benches, you need to network with your people. Okay, so take interest in saving their numbers. For the leaders you have appointed, we have high faith. But your subordinates, as I said, you have to work on them. You first need to connect with your subordinates, and then from there they pick your fire, and then you spread it to the entire caucus. So we'll create a caucus page. As of now, we are yet to do the designation for each of the MPs for which caucus they belong. Yes, we are yet to do that. But after we do that, then it's incumbent on you to save the contact of your people, and then you build a rapport with them. So when you have an appreciative knowledge of parliamentary procedures and process and governance, you would enjoy what we do. If you don't understand, that is going to be boring for you. But I'm certain our majority and minority leader have appreciative knowledge of what we do. So they actually enjoy the process. Sitting for 5 hours, some people think we are wasting time, but when you understand what we are doing, you would enjoy it, and you would even wish that it never ends. Mhm. Raise awareness about YIP's work and promote civic participation among youth MPs. It is incumbent on our youth MPs to publicize us. So when we do posters, you should at least post it on your social media handles. We do posters for you. Every youth MP is going to have a poster on the inauguration day. We are going to give them all their appointment letters. So our members should be able to hype us. If you do poster for you, you cannot even post your own poster, then it's a problem. So the leaders at least, you should be able to post your own poster. We'll do a poster for you. And we release the poster of the leaders first before any other MPs. We release front benches first before the back benches. Mhm. And then the last one, fulfill all financial obligations to Parliament, follow and subscribe to all YIP handles. We have around 8 handles. Facebook, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have Twitter, we have LinkedIn, we have Telegram, we have YouTube, we have TikTok. All the leaders, you need to subscribe to all of them and persuade your members to subscribe to all of them. And also the financial obligations. As of now, we have the inaugural levy coming 50 cedis. If you look at our budgets for the program, you realize that we really need that funds. And if you don't get it, it frustrates us. So it is incumbent on you to persuade your members to pay and pay early. At least the deadline should be by the end of this month. Yes, should be by well, when we get to the preparations for the inauguration, I'll talk about that. But the inaugural levy, let's persuade our members to pay. And then so far, the levy, the dues that we have, the monthly dues is just 5 cedis. Up to now, some people haven't even paid the first one. Well, what we have said right now is the fact that you need to pay before you get your certificates. So the certificates for the second parliamentarians are ready. Yes, their certificates are actually ready. So now let's go to the leaders. The leaders of each caucus. There shall be leaders of each of the caucus in parliament, namely the majority leader and the minority leader. I think it should be the caucuses, not caucus. Okay, I'll make that change later. So the majority and the minority leader shall be the leader and represent and speak for their respective caucus, assist the speaker in coordinating parliamentary sittings effectively, coordinate the legislative agenda of their respective caucuses, lead their caucus in debates and deliberations in the House during sittings or fora, be assisted by a deputy each in the performance of their duties. Their respective deputies shall be the majority leader and the minority leader, and perform any other duty as may be designated by the speaker or the standing orders. So, as you can see, realize that we have tried to summarize your leadership duties over here to make it very simple for you to comply. Yes, because you first of all have duties as an MP before we are adding this one. This is a privileged position because we obviously, anytime we talk about MPs, we obviously talk about the leaders first. Yes, so this is how privileged the position is. And it's incumbent on you to take advantage of that. So as you can see, if you come for sittings, unfortunately for the majority caucus, the majority MPs have not been doing well in the second parliament, but the minority have been doing well. So that might contribute to the reason why we stole some of the minority members, though. But we are just hoping for the performance of each of the caucuses. Koji, don't laugh, I beg you. Now, the whips. That is another important leadership side. So the MP leaders who are the front benches is just two categories: the leaders and whips. The leaders have one deputy and the whips have two deputies. Now you can see for the whips, there shall be whips of each of the caucus in parliament, namely the majority chief whip and the minority chief whip. The whip shall ensure party discipline among members. I think we change the party to caucus discipline among members of their respective caucuses. Influence the interests of members towards deliberations and debates on floor. In consultation with their leader, direct caucus members, direct caucus members um, in voting patterns. Ensure the presence and participation of youth MPs in parliamentary sessions. Be assisted by two deputies, first and second deputy each. So your job is number one, ensure that what they are present. The whips, your job is to ensure that your members are present for sittings of the house. At, if nothing, crown the most important sittings, the three important sittings is the August sitting, the January sitting, and the April. The whips are to ensure that their members are around. And for other businesses, when they are around, what you whip them if you are all going this way, you are voting this way, you do. So as of now, the whips have not been doing a good job because they don't know their job. When we're talking about whipping, we have the normal whipping and three-line whipping. The normal whipping is just members, let's do this like this, let's do this like that. But the three-line whipping is a strict order that for this particular business, we are all going this way, and that is what you must do. So the whipping, I know you are guessing it. If I am a whip for a caucus, hey, that caucus they will disturb. Oh. It's not the whip is not in mouth, it's about action. So you are like the organizer of the caucus, the whips. You are like organizers of the caucus. You are supposed to whip members along the line. And of course, attendance will always work for you. So minority is actually most at times good at whipping in every parliament because minority members are not burdened with other executive duties, unlike majority members. So even in Parliament of Ghana, minority seems to be doing well in whipping than majority, and that seems to display itself in the second parliament currently. So the whips, please, you have to up your games. You have to up your games when it comes to whipping. Yes, you have to up your games and whip your members. So the first duty I want to give you is the inauguration. We want all MPs present. If not in crown 100 of them should be present. So we are working on the caucus designation, and when we are done, you know your members. Now, the clerk to parliament, a very important office, and we have expanded this department. The clerk to parliament is the administrator of that parliament, convene sittings on the authority of the speaker. That is why when we are sharing the memo for sittings, the speaker does not sign, but the clerk, they prepare other paper in consultation with the speaker. They prepare, take, and keep a register of true records of votes and proceedings and official reports of all parliamentary proceedings, provide support and advice to the Speaker and parliamentarians on parliamentary procedure and rules. The clerk is supposed to be a master of proceedings. As a matter of fact, the clerk must be a master of proceedings himself. He needs to understand parliamentary duties so that he can provide support and advice to the Speaker and parliamentarians. So our incoming clerk was a Senate speaker. So at the end, we believe he understands, but he's still learning. Yes, that is why in parliaments of Ghana, the clerks are mostly lawyers. SQ, you see SQ at the end of their title because they need to understand the job before they can even guide the speaker. They prepare and keep a register of all members of parliament and other offices. And they are assisted by three deputies and three assistants. We have expanded the clerk department so that they can be fully responsible for focus. The focal point is votes and proceedings, official reports, and attendance. Unlike the current parliament that I end up doing it myself, I want the clerks department to fully handle those three things for the incoming parliament. So the new clerk, Cyril, you also have to up your game, and then you need to get in touch with all your deputies and assistants so that when you get them, you put the fire in them to be able to do the job. So the clerks don't normally speak, but when it is important that they speak, we give them opportunity. But the first sitting is being chaired by the clerk, so the speaker takes the seat. So the clerk, you have to up your game when it comes to that. And now there are going to be there is already existing three deputy clerks. There is already existing three deputy clerks. So we have three deputy clerks: deputy clerk operations, deputy clerk finance, deputy clerk publicity. So the deputy clerks assist the clerk in the performance of his or her duties and then act in the absence of the clerk and proceedings. Now, deputy clerk operations shall manage operational and organizational functions of the youth parliament, provide operational support to the speaker, clerk, and parliamentarians, and perform any other operational duty that may emerge. Deputy Clerk Finance shall manage the financial aspects of the youth parliament, assist in fundraising efforts such as collection dues, such as it should be collecting dues, not collection dues. It's supposed to be collecting dues, collecting dues, levies, and donations. Yes. As of now, we have been able to get a merchant SIM for the foundation. So any transaction in Ghana cedis will be sent to that. Yes, so that it will not be sent to anyone personal's number, anyone personal number. So manage the financial aspect and then assist in efforts such as collecting dues, levies, and donations, and play any other financial role. So yours is to ensure that what the financial obligations of MPs are so is supposed to be performed. So you need to get to know them and encourage them. Every sitting should remind them. And then all those anything similar as such. Anything similar as such. Oh, yeah, hello. I had a call interrupting me. I hope I can be heard. Hello, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic, fantastic. Um,
Yeah.
yes, Deputy Clerk Publicity handles the publicity and communication aspects of the youth parliament, promotes the parliament's activities and initiatives to the public and stakeholders, perform any other publicity role as may emerge. So, publicity for the entire parliament, deputy clerk publicity is in charge of that. So, most of the times, you might hear the deputy clerk publicity even reading out bills for us and then all those. And we have 16 standing committees and 19 select committees. So the secretaries we are not going to have any MP as secretary again. So the deputy clerks are going to be secretaries to all standing committees. The clerk will always be secretary to the Parliamentary Service Board, Committee of the Whole, the Standing Orders Committee, and the Committee on Selection, and also the Committee on Legislative Affairs, that is a select committee. We have introduced the assistant clerks so that we will have secretaries for each of the select committees of parliament. Because in the current parliament, there are no secretaries for the select committees. Now, all of them are going to have secretaries. So that is why we have three assistant clerks: assistant clerk affairs, assistant clerk accounts, and assistant clerk relations. They are going to be secretaries to all the 18 committees, so means 6 each. And then the clerk will be to the 90th one, which is the Committee on Legislative Affairs, since the clerk is supposed to be a champion in legislative procedures. So he'll be the secretary to that committee. So all the select committees are going to have secretaries now. Yes, and it's going to be the assistant clerks. So the assistant clerks are some way, somehow deputies to the deputy clerks as well. They are also deputies to the deputy clerks as well. So as you can see, they assist the clerk and deputy clerks in the performance of their duties, act in the absence of the clerk and his or her deputy clerks during proceedings. So we don't want to have MPs being at the table office again. So when a deputy clerk is not around, an assistant clerk will step in. We don't want MPs acting as clerk again in the third parliament. Yes, strictly. That is why we are expanding the clerk's department to be able to handle that. So deputy clerk are first, act in the absence of deputy clerk operations and perform any other duty, help in assisting parliamentary documentation and correspondence, help in preparing and distributing other papers and relevant documents. Assistant clerk accounts act in the absence of deputy clerk finance and any other duty, assist in management of financial aspects and then coordinate relevant structures for financial transactions and reimbursement. So deputy clerk finance and assistant clerk accounts. Your duties are basically in line and you have to know and have that relationship so that you can he can aid you or she can aid you perform your duty because it's basically attached to you. Honorable Koji, I think after I'm done with the marshals, I'll take your question before we move to the next one. So I'll call you soon. The assistant clerk relations. The assistant clerk relations acts in the absence of the deputy clerk publicity and perform any other duty, assist in publicizing the activities and achievements of the youth parliament through media communications and channels and ensure that all youth MPs are well informed of activities. So assistant clerk relations must also work with deputy clerk publicity. And all the assistant clerks shall be secretaries to select committees of parliament, as I said. That is it for the clerk. Now, Marshal Department, Office of the Marshal. For the Office of the Marshal, basically, your office is more of security for the entire parliament. Yes, because we cannot have policemen and soldiers in parliament. So it's the Marshal Department that does that. So the Marshal is the mace bearer. The third parliament is going to have a mace. We are going to have our own mace and they are working on it. You see it on the day of the inauguration. So anytime parliament is starting, we are going to have either the Marshal or any of the deputies available to carry the mace for us. So the Marshal is the mace bearer of the youth parliament by bearing the mace at processions of parliament, maintaining order and security during youth parliament sittings, ensure safety and well-being of parliamentarian staff and visitors, manage access to the parliament chambers and maintain decorum, assist the speaker in enforcing parliamentary duties and discipline, coordinate with security personnel and relevant authorities if necessary, and then the marshal is supposed to be assisted by 4 deputies. We don't also want any MP holding camera and performing any duty of the marshal. That is why we have increased the deputies from 2 to 4. So we have deputy marshal physical security, deputy marshal information security, deputy marshal emergency response, deputy marshal VIP response. So deputy marshal information physical security is responsible for maintaining the physical security of parliamentary premises, monitor access to control systems, surveillance cameras, and alarms. So basically, he's the one designated to be on the camera. Deputy Marshal Information Security implements and enforces information security policies and procedures. Focus on safeguarding the information and data within parliamentary systems, handle emergency response procedures and protocols within premises, develop and implement emergency preparedness plans. Okay, yeah, so that is it for information security. Now, emergency response. Handle emergency response and protocols within the parliamentary premise. Develop and implement emergency preparedness plans, including evacuation and crisis management. Then Deputy Marshal VIP protection shall coordinate security arrangements for VIP events, visits, events, and meetings. So anytime our guest is coming, Deputy Marshal VIP protection, you have to be the first person to come in. Wherever they'll sit, we'll let you know, and then you coordinate them for us. Yes, if I'll have to join, I'll join you, and then, but maybe when I'm presiding by then, it is up to you to go and do that. So coordinate security arrangements for VIP visits, events and meetings, responsible for the security and protection of VIPs, including members of parliament and visits. So maybe like the taking for instance, when it comes to The inauguration, for instance, we can do it that the marshal will bear the mace, right? So the marshal will also be in whatever uniform you guys will decide to wear, and then one will be on the camera. The marshal himself is bearing the mace, and the emergency response can be at the back of we the guests, so that whenever we need you, whatever the VIPs need you to do, and then emergency response, you are supposed to be around. Anything that any intel that you receive, you let us know, and then we take an action. So you as well will work with the intelligence committee as well. The deputy marshals are all going to be part of the organizing committee of parliament as well. Are going to be part of the organizing committee of parliament as well. Yes, are going to be part of the organizing committee of parliament as well. Now, when it comes to, I think that is for all the officers. That is for all the officers, and as of now, I can now receive questions before we proceed for that business. So, Francis Koji, which question did you have? Let me hear from you now before we proceed. Which question did you
All
have?
right, thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah, good evening to everybody.
Evening.
I just want to know if all the rules you are stating, we have the people present, or there's going to be another day to teach them also.
Oh, that is why we are
Because
recording this session, so that if in case, should in case you miss this session, you can go and watch the recording, because we are not going to do this again. Because the Tuesday session is for all MPs, and we'll touch less on the leadership roles. That is why we are doing the leadership orientation ahead of the pre-inaugural orientation, so that that one will be more focused on the MPs. Will be more focused on the MPs than the leaders. So that is why we are recording it. If they miss this session, they can go and watch the recording. So the leaders for each of the offices, check your subordinates. If the person is not up to task, let's change the person before the inauguration. Yes.
my deputy is not here.
So check on him and query him why he's not here. And if there's an action we'll take. So all the leaders, office of the marshal, majority, minority, clerk, and chief officer of the foundation, check on all your subordinates and ensure that they all watch this recording. If they can't do the duty, then we change them before the inauguration. Because when we swear them in, it's going to be difficult to change them. That is a principle we want to set. We want to give security. But when the person flouts the rule, the punishment will be given, just as we saw at the last sitting. Yeah, so right now it's incumbent on you, the leader, to ensure that your subordinates are up to task. And that is why we have already created office pages for you, so that you start looking at them, examining them ahead of time. And at every point in time, we need, we actually need the front bench to be full. We need the front bench to always be present. If MPs will not come, the leaders will have to come. And if they will not come, they need to let you, the person leading that office, know. If you replace them for that office, if you are going to get someone to act until they come, but if it's persistent, then you have to take an action. So get to know them, know their issues right now. And if you think maybe they can still do, no problem. But if you are convinced they cannot, and the person, you need to agree with the person, I think you cannot do it, and then we change you at once. Yeah, so that is it. That is it. Now going to D, opportunities for leaders. As a matter of fact, whenever we are going to do courtesy visits, it's the leaders that will take. When we are going to do courtesy duties, it's the leaders that will take. When the big men come, it's the leaders that will introduce to them. When opportunities come, we look at the leaders first. So everything that will come, the leaders are going to have a first batch of before the backbenchers. That is the privilege of being a leader. So there are some leaders who are not seeing it. But as a matter of fact, you can tell in the first and the second parliament, we did some visitations to the regional minister and then some orders. It's only the leaders that were part of us. So the opportunities are endless. Because of this, people are watching you and they are seeing that you are doing something. If you do any recommendation, it's the leaders that will look at first. So if you are being nominated as a leader and you can't see opportunity to take this serious, then let us know so that we'll make you what? A backbencher. A backbencher. Yes, so the opportunities are endless. After I speak, we'll have Mr. Raymond Elikaman will add his take before we start taking contributions. And then I think the majority and the minority leaders are here. They will also add their take. And then, yes, Honorable Hubert, you wanted to talk about something, or you're okay? Because after Elikem,
Okay,
we take.
initially I wanted,
Yeah, I'm listening to you.
yeah, I wanted to ask a question, but since there will be a forum for questions and answers, so when we get there.
Okay, okay. So after I take the inaugural
Yeah.
preparations, we'll hear from Mr. Elikamadbu and then the majority minority leaders. And then we'll now take questions, contributions, and then corrections before we close the session. It's already an hour and we'll be getting ready to close. So the inaugural preparations, 12 August, 12 August is happening live in Khaled. The guest is Honorable Peter Nachukotu, MP for Akachi North, is coming live in Khaled. He has confirmed his attendance. And then the DCE for Afarato South, who is also one of our patrons, have confirmed. And then Mr. Foga. We are going to have them come again. These are people who cherish us and are ready to create opportunities for us. Your first impression, you create a good impression. They'll look at the videos and yes, this person, I know him. We, through this entire movement and then initiative, we are gaining recommendation from these people. Honorable Nochukoto is the ranking member of the Education Committee in Parliament of Ghana. And if in case you don't know his value, then you are joking here. Honorable Fulolu is the Dean of Volta Regional MCs or DCs. That's another big position. If in case you don't know the substantive position this will have, you will not joke with this opportunity we are doing for you. This opportunity we are creating for you. Yes. And then also, Mr. Boga, as you know, he's our father. He actually looks to whatever we do and then creates when we are not on the path, he corrects us to ensure that we always have the best of face. He is currently a council member of Old Technical University and president of the entire alumni front, a long-standing member in this entire Old Technical University community. He's one of our patrons and he'll be coming. He knows us very, he is very close to us. So uh, what, whatever he will say is more subjective than the others that are objective. So for the inauguration, is happening live. The MPs are to contribute a levy of what, 50 cedis. Please, we need the leaders to encourage them to pay so that, because if you look at our budget, it's within that range. And if they don't pay, our budget suffers. So we are hiring sound, we are hiring photography, we are hiring streamers, we are not going for sobolo and pie again. We are going for food and then bottled water for each member. And then we are going to do a lot of printings. So the documents, we are still reviewing them. And by the second or third week, by the last week to the program, we'll start doing the printings ahead. We'll have to make payments down in advance for the streaming, make payment down in advance for the food, make payment down in advance. So when the money is not paid early, it's worried. So at least by 31st July, about half of the MP should have paid. Mhm. Half of the MP should have paid so that we can get these things on spot. And as you know, I'm someone who I plan ahead a lot. I plan ahead a lot. And the attire, it has to be official. Left to me alone, the front benches should be very official. Suit. I myself am coming in suit. All my deputy speakers must come in suit. The leaders try and get suits, or if nothing but suit, come in official and let's look very professional and serious with what we are doing. Yes, so please, the suits there is very important. The back benches, they must come in official. You must come in official as much as possible. The clerks, you must come looking official if you have to come. The marshals, for the marshals, I think white top and black down will be good. and we'll also give you Vixen, please allow me. Why? Yes, white top. And then also you are supposed to wear sash. So the marshals, we are working on the sash for you because the current sash of the marshals are giving it to the assistant clerk. So you get new sets of marshals. And then the order paper is ready. We are reviewing it, and we have done this before. So we are just coming to perfect what we did last year. Most of you have experienced that. So I think before we hear from Elikan, let me just hear Gaku Daniel's question before we hear from Honorable Elikan. So Elikan, please, we'll hear you in a second. Yes, Daniel, let me hear from you.
Yeah. Good evening to you all.
Evening.
Please, my question is the VIP protection marshal. Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Because my network here is very bad. That's why. Because
I
it's
can hear you
cutting joining.
speak. I can hear you speak.
So, that portion I did not hear it well because of the network. So please, if you can go through some 30 seconds for me, so that I'll recall what you said about the protection.
Okay, so Deputy Marshal VIP protection, you have to coordinate security arrangements for VIP visits.
Hello.
Yes, you have to coordinate. You have to coordinate security arrangements for VIP visits.
Hello.
Events. Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you. I'm going ahead to talk about your role. So I'm saying you have to coordinate security arrangements for VIP visits and events and meetings, responsible for security of VIPs, inclusive of members of parliament and dignitaries. So your duty, as I said, whenever any guest is coming, you should be the first person to meet them, even before I do or anyone does. And then also, maybe as well the VIPs to be, you should be close by so that if you need anything, you do it for us. So information security is supposed to be more of an intel person listening to intelligence. Security, physical security will be on the camera. The marshal himself will be seated and be coordinating all of you. Maybe on your WhatsApp page, they'll be putting information there for you if in the case he has any direction to give. So all of you have your placements and your important duties. Yes, I hope you are fine. Okay, Honorable Elikem, can we now hear from you? Let's hear from you, your contributions before we take questions. Yes.
Okay, good evening to you all. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, we can.
Okay,
Loud and clear.
okay, I actually followed the entire proceeding. I don't know what exactly you want me to speak on.
Well, you are Deputy Executive Director in charge of humanitarian affairs. Maybe you have something to add. I have skipped something. Whatever it is, you can add your take before we take questions and answers.
Okay, thank you so much. Once again, I want to say thank you to Right Honorable Jones Amegashi Biglo. Thanks everybody that is online and all that will come to join and listen or watch later. I would also want to reiterate the fact that Youth Impact Movement Foundation and Parliament is youth-oriented, and people, like-minded personalities who are much of doers than talkers. And so we anticipate that all the people who have had the quest to apply and also have gone through all this, the preliminary stages and have been given the nod to represent a constituency one way or the other, occupy positions of marshals, clerks, deputies, speakers, and what have you, to come with that optimum professionalism, even though it is a place that we come to learn and then share ideas. We expect that as you come, you exhibit top professionalism. Now, coming to the inaugural event, we anticipate that everybody would come as Right Honorable Jones has spoken about. We anticipate that everybody comes with all manner of readiness for the event, and also we hope to see you in the best. You are representing your constituencies, and so we we anticipate that you come in your best, of which your people would be wanting to see. And so, as youth MPs, it is very, very imperative for us to honor the time, and also to to be very good at our communication. And so, if we come and the time is 6, then we must make sure that it's 6 we are there. Because however we start this inaugural event would also determine how we would end the parliamentary year. And so I know that every other person, every single person who has sent in the application and have been given the nod to join the Youth Impact Parliament for this year, we anticipate that you come and give your optimum, your topmost best, and then we are sure that we will all be laughing at the right side of our mouth at the end of the day. Finally, there are limitless opportunities when you come around Youth Impact Movement, Foundation, and Parliament. There are limitless opportunities. We, by the grace of God and by the network we have, are connected with the people, the industry persons, the political figures, the entrepreneurs out there, the businessmen, the cocoa farmer, the very topmost person, and then the little person you may want to find or ask of. And so we hope that you have also, as a parliamentarian, also have your networks. And this is what we come together to say: we want to learn, we want to unlearn, and we want to relearn. So we want to share our knowledge together, and then share our networks together, share our experiences together, share whatever we've got together, so that at the end of the day, we can all learn something and then get better at the societies we represent. And so this is what I've got to share with you, and I hope that we would enjoy our parliament. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Deputy Executive Director in charge of Humanitarian Affairs. Majority Leader incoming, let's hear from you. Then Minority Leader incoming.
develop. You have to represent the people and make laws. But you should have organizations that you can lobby and be able to make certain developmental issues happen in your constituency. So as we have to go into the next parliament, I think we should be more serious than we were and be able to get bigger than it used to be, more especially in terms of communicate to our members to attend sittings. That is the most important thing that we should be focusing on as well. So thank you very much, and I think we will make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Minority Leader.
All right. Good evening.
Evening.
So I think Right Honorable yeah.
Yes, you are listening
And
to
then
you.
also my boss, Elika, I'm good this side now. I just imagine so, so they've actually said a lot, and then I will know about the attendance because this is a voluntary work, and then I see for no reason that we should be forced or our fix should be forcing us before we be able to come for citizens. This youth party parliament. So even when I want to use myself as a case study, where I was even going for the SRC finance officer, since then I've never even complained about anything or me not being able to come for citizens. Youth in party parliament, I've learned a lot. If you want to compare, not to downgrade anything, I want to compare what I've learned from youth in past parliament as compared to the SRC parliament. I will stay on authority every day, anywhere, anytime that I've learned a lot in youth in past parliament when it comes to leadership and how parliamentary runs. You see, most of the things that I've and no matter what, I might not get it on a normal day anywhere. So I'm just grateful for Right Honorable Jones for this great initiative and other people that also have this great vision for setting up this youth impact parliament. So for me, my expectations in the third parliament is mainly on attendance because when you want to learn for the future, you can be in the house like claiming that you want to learn. We come, you share ideas from friends, you see how your friends talk, how they comport themselves, how they frame their sentence, and you also learn. So I feel that we shouldn't be forced before coming for sitting. And how things went in the second parliament, it wasn't that looking well. Where even though members on my caucus, I will applaud them that they've actually done well, even though we are the minority. But each and every day, looking like what we are the majority of the house. They've done well as compared to the majority side. But there are more expectations from them as we are going forward to the third parliament that we should always avail ourselves. You see, this platform is a learning platform. Like me, I will never know on any day that on a normal day, like me getting this contact, no, if not because of youth impact parliament. I wouldn't have even take picture with him just like that or do anything if not because of youth impact parliament. So this is a great opportunity.
Hello?
Yes, speaker, the speaker.
I think we lost Honorable Hubert.
Are we going to take such opportunity?
Hello.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, we are hearing you. Proceed.
Okay. So the more expectation, you've already spoken about what the dressing aspect. There are one or two hinges at the second parliament, but when we're going for the third parliament, at least we should kind of watch our dressing small. At times people do come with normal slippers, which is not good. We can't go to some gatherings, even normal gatherings with a normal slippers. As to even talk about a parliament that we self we call it, like, it's just bad. So we the leaders, we have to be watching those things and what, at least be whipping our members to that line that at least we should be wearing. You have only one sutra, be wearing it. It's even more than what you wear slippers and then come for sittings. And then at times the way they dress, and since if you wear it, you're supposed to tuck in. But some it's been allowed that you don't have to tuck in based on the dress you are wearing. But some people they don't actually know that. So I think Right Honorable have to get some time and then what also speak about what this dressing, how you are supposed to dress when you are coming for a sitting. So those are some of my expectations from us. And then what the leaders, so we have to put up our games and then what keep our members to do the right thing as we go forward. So we should be expecting like 100 people in the third parliament, if not for anything at all. So I thank you very much. Right now.
Yes, thank you very much. So now questions, contributions, and corrections. Let's hear from Honorable Vixen by Sel.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I guess what I want to contribute to is that moving into the third parliament, let me just appreciate this second parliament. We have done an enormous. I think we have talked a lot more of the starters as compared to the first parliament. I must comment all the leaders in the house that they are trying their best. Sometimes, like you always say, you will not be compensated back. Some of these things you will not find it in class. This is where you have to train yourself. And some of us will not anywhere. We will pursue to higher figures. So my concern is I want to add up to members, especially during this second parliament. Some of the leaders are the offside. It's as if the majority leader it behoves on the majority that the majority that to be talking. But the rest of the leaders, they don't have that kind of they don't normally talk. But in parliament, that's what the word is called parley. You talk, I talk. Both of us will argue. So I think moving to the third, I want to see us conversing.
This my point, teacher.
Debated argument about it, because if you come to parliament and see members of the front they're not talking, it doesn't even motivate the MP also wanted to talk. If all of us are talking, yes, it will make the whole thing collaborative. Because sometimes if only your leader is talking, it makes us say he's the only one talking, and when you do that, ideas does not flow very well. So I want to beg about that moving to the third parliament. Let's cultivate the habit of talking, making points, arguments. Have your evidence to back your case, and that's the more reason why parliament. You talk, I talk. You talk, I back your. Then the whole thing is very like they just ended parliament that we had that was Sunday. I think that was one of the interesting speaking that I have ever had, because all of us were talking. Yes, that's how come you see me also being for us doing all some of these things, and it makes the whole thing very nice. The house will be very highly spiritual. So let's cultivate the habit of making argument, make our point very well, devoid of insult and all this. Then make an argument, then you are good. So that's the only thing I have to add to the earlier submission made by the various leaders. From the figure I saw some.
Thank you very much. Let's hear from Daniel Gaku.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah,
I greet you once again.
thank you.
My hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Some of us we are just there to say that we have been in the hello.
Yeah, we can hear you. Proceed.
Some of us
Yeah, we can hear you.
before, but the actual work that we are supposed to do there, we don't do it. The actual work we are supposed to do, we don't do it as. Let me see. When you are hungry, no one will force you to eat before you eat. So when you put a duty before yourself, you have to make sure that you fulfill the work that you yourself you put before yourself. Because the reason why I said this, some of us we apply or they appointed us for these jobs. We will come one, twice, then the rest we refuse to come. And we will bring a lot of excuses and things to cover ourselves, which is not good. When you are not there, who will do it for you? You know that you can do it. Someone might occupy your space, but you are there. That's why the person is not come. So you're supposed to do the work yourself, but no one else. But this one, we are just putting it as if no, we like to like we'll do whatever we like. No one will access anything. So my contribution is let's put up some discipline or like let's set up some 1 or 2 times. This is the punishment for you. That's my suggestion. So if it should be possible. And my part to the VIP protection, my network was worrying me. So if you can help me go through again so that I'll get it correct. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. First of all, we are recording the session, so you can go and check the recording and where we spoke on VIP protection during the ABC constitutional duties, discretionary and expectation of leaders. You can go and listen to it over there. Yes, thank you very much for touching on that. We realized that in the second parliament that a lot of the youth MPs didn't know their left and right, and it was because we didn't give them adequate orientation. That is why this time around we have created a lot of orientation opportunities to teach them what to do. Now, when it comes to the discipline, the second parliament has been very demonstrative of consequences that will approach you if you fail to turn up for sittings. We have been able to boot not less than 30 to 40 youth MPs out of parliament, both appointed and substantive. Not less than 30 to 40 youth MPs out of parliament because they failed to do their job and failed to turn up for sittings. And it will continue in the third parliament. When you fail to take your oath in 3 months, you are immediately booted out with no question because you have not even taken your oath. Your appointment is revoked. If you take your oath and then you miss 3 sittings without the permission of the speaker, you are referred to the privileges committee and accordingly booted out after the report if the house is convinced you don't merit your position. And it continues. So the discipline there is there. Now I think all we have to do is for the administrative setup as well, the marshal and then the orders. I think we should equally apply it there. In the third parliament, in the second parliament, we didn't touch them. But I think this time around, if they also become stubborn, we'll refer them and treat them like the MPs. A special attention is given to them because for them they are appointed. But if they turn up with the same behavior, the same consequence will affect them. So, honourable members, as we are approaching to the end, any last thing to share, you can turn on your mic and share it, and then we close this up.
All right. Okay. I would like to ask some question and then ask my voice to something I've observed at the last sitting. Okay, so my first question is, when we go to the parliament, like let's say on the floor of parliament, secretaries or the clerks and then marshals don't have voting rights. So does that clause also extend to the various committees that they will be part of? Let's say when something comes up for which there must be a vote on. So would they be able to vote at the committee level? Okay, so that's my question. So one observation I've also made last time at our last sitting, I've seen that most of the youth MPs are trying to show their party colors, for which I don't think it will be kind of healthy for the youth impact parliament, because we have different people coming in. You might not know who will help you. So last time I think that people from the same caucus, they were disagreeing on certain issue, the majority side. Somebody is from different party and somebody, even though they belong to the same caucus, but they are disagreeing for which camera is sitting on them. That one, like, to me personally, it's kind of some way that is not healthy for us. So when we are making some statements, we should kind of leave the party color out of it more, even though our lifestyle now revolves, everything revolves around politics. But at least we should kind of leave it small. And then one suggestion I also like to make is, let's take the first parliament, we try to differentiate when we will have let's say a guest that will be speaking on a particular topic, we always have them on virtual. So when we go for physical or normal sittings, we have ample time to not debate on issues of what national interest. But I've seen that the second parliament, we are blending the two together, where we don't have that much time to have debate. So I'm suggesting that maybe if going forward into the third parliament, and at the sitting we will have a topic that we will need somebody to come and speak on. I think that sitting should be devoted or dedicated to that particular topic, that guest, so that we can have more insight into what the person is coming to say. And then when it's time that we should have a debate on the floor of parliament, it should be also treated as such, so that we can have some kind of feel about the debate. That's because for the past 3 sittings that we want to have some debate, due to 1 or 2 activities that have interfered in it, we couldn't have the chance to do that debate. So I'm suggesting that there should be some kind of differences when going forward into the third parliament. Thank you very much, Rachel. Now.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll speak on the first question. Yes, at plenary, the clerks and the marshals don't have voting rights. But at the committee level, we have allowed them to have voting rights because they are part of the composition. So it's the chairman who has a casting vote. So that's it, because maybe when they have opportunity to contribute at the committee level, it will inspire them to be more vibrant at the committee level, because at plenary they don't have voting rights and opportunity to contribute, but at the committee level they can contribute. Yes, with respect to the party colors, I agree. I myself am part of a party, but when I'm presiding, I don't show party colors or speak around party lines. So during the orientation, let's hamper on that so that we don't have MPs speaking around party lines. This is a youth parliament. This is not a political avenue. So you are supposed to be neutral in all dealings. Yes, you are supposed to be neutral in all dealings. If you want to go by party colors, will they allow MPP members to be part of majority, NEC to be part of minority? But it is not a party parliament. That is why we share, regardless of your political color, you are part of whatever caucus. So we need to speak to our members to be devoid of political printing and then picketing, and be neutral on floor. Now, the last question. During the first parliament, indeed, we had more time to debate because our guests were virtual. But this time around, our guests were all demanding for physical presence. And it became so much of a load on us, we couldn't get time to do proper debate in the second parliament. I agree. But I learned something from the last sitting that we held. We only had one guest. So we had time to do other businesses. But this time around, due to the privileges reports, we couldn't even have time to debate. So I am of the view that if anything, we are not to have more than a guest for each sitting. And the guest should only speak for 30 minutes, question and answers. And within an hour, we are done with the guest. Then we proceed. Whatever private business, we have to limit it so that the private and public business will be very few. So that the next hour or two left should be clearly left for debate. Now, one thing that allows me to permit for other businesses to take instead of the debate is because we have been handicapped on motions during the second parliament. We have been handicapped on motions a lot. Yes, so the business committee, majority and minority leader, when you get us very interesting motions, it encourages us to hold debates. But because we are handicapped on motions, it's like we wouldn't even have I don't know, you understand. So we need motions. When the motions are attractive, the people will not even allow for private business and public business to take time. But our motions have not been attractive in the second parliament. That is why it was not even attractive for us to hold the debate. So that is it. Yes, Honorable Koji, your last input and then we close this session.
All right. So before I say anything, I want you to know that you should prepare your caucus. We should prepare our caucus. You see, I mean, in fact, I'm going to enjoy the third parliament because I'm going to battle with my own leader. You understand? He's my honorable leader. In fact, I cherish him a lot. For the leader himself, I don't know him. The leader himself, I don't know him, but I know him. I know the deputy is my leader. So the next parliament, the debate will come because you are going to deal with very serious people who are going to be very critical in dealing with issues relating to politics and young people as well. So the debate will come every sitting. Then what he suggests and I want us to look at is that if we are going to have a guest, let's have that time for the guests. And then if anytime we want to debate, we shouldn't have any guests. So we can have enough time so we can discipline each other. Honorable Hubert, I believe I'm speaking your mind. Right? Yeah, so so that we can discipline each other, you know. And that wasn't the plan, but you know it has to be like that. You understand? So what I also want to say is that going into the third parliament, I think there are a lot of things we need to be very critical about. Like my honorable leader said, he's still my leader to inauguration. The dressing, I mean, sometimes it's just boring. People they just wear anything and come. Sometimes I have to bombard some of them. That's why the last time I saw one of the guys properly dressed, and I went to recommend him that you are now doing well. So the marshals have to be very critical about that. Since they are going to take care of our security issues, they should be very. I mean, we should have marshals at the entrance level. You are not properly dressed; it should bounce you out. We are learning. So if we are learning, we should learn everything. Me every day, even if I don't have the time to sit by the TV, I go on Facebook to watch the parliamentary proceedings. I see how members dressed beautifully. I mean, it doesn't cost you to dress nice. We are men. We are not ladies that would say we have to be changing clothes. No. I mean, if we have 3, 5 set of clothes, you could change that every day. I mean, every sitting, you could change that, and you are still going to be looking good. All you need to do is to take care of your hair and all that. I mean, I see members leaving their beards. Very scary, man. Like, it's sometimes boring. And that person will go out and say he's a member of the youth parliament, youth impact parliament for that matter. It doesn't speak well of us. We all have the beard. We could leave it look very bushy and scary, but we should be able to identify and know the meaning of the word honorable. It's one of the things I would urge. I mean, during the orientation to the members, all of them should go and get the meaning. It's one of the things that has helped me to know how I carry my. I try to know the meaning of the word honorable, so that can help me carry myself. My friends are like, man, you what's up? The things we used to do, and I said, no, I can't do that anymore. Should anybody see me who is close to me and is a member of the youth parliament, will say, guy, what's up? This thing you are doing, is it nice? Because I try to get the meaning of that word. And I believe during the orientation, we should focus on that so that our members can know the meaning of the word honorable. So it will help them. So we cannot see anybody eating wachi at the roadside where people are just passing and watching him, all those things. During the inauguration, the guest at that time said something, and I picked that from that day. He said, to the fact that you are youth MPs and the name honorable is attached to your names, you should know how you carry yourself. You don't eat at anywhere like you used to do. You don't just, you are working and you are eating maize, waka, waka, waka. Like, it's very bad. So during the orientation, I want us to help our members know all these things so that we can all grow together and get to the next stage that we are hoping to get to. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We'll take the last comments from Aman Odina and then we'll close today's session.
My boss is in.
Aman, if you're not ready, then we hear Vixen before we hear you. Okay, Vixen, we want to close the session, so please be quick and then we close this session. Yes, Vixen, let's hear you before Amano.
And then I was like, okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker. Now, what I want to go ahead is, I don't know whether the minority and like the various MP have been segmented to their various caucus. So that at least the ladies there, I think you really have some ladies. So I'm just endorsing that probably the ladies should be counting from them.
Okay, no problem.
Well, no, but I just want to ask whether you already giving them the.
No, we are now coming to do the caucus designation. We are now coming to do the caucus designation. Okay. Yes, Amano, let's hear from you before we close today's session. Amano, are you active? Let's hear from you before we close today's session. Deputy Executive Director in charge of Parliamentary Affairs. Amano Dina. What do you have to say?
I think Amano have a visitor. Let's move on.
Okay, then in that case, I want to thank you all for coming for the leadership. You're supposed to be 1 hour, but fortunately, we have spent 45 minutes in addition. So we want to close. Thank you very much for coming. And the recording is there. Anyone who has missed, please, leaders, tell them to watch the recording and learn. Because the pre-inaugural orientation on the 18th will touch less on the duties of the leaders and speak more on the duties of the MPs. Yes, we'll speak more on the duties of the MPs. So that is why we are doing a special session for the leaders. I think Amana wants to speak now. Let's hear him, and then we take the prayers.
what's the name? Could your forehead like gasoline that why?
Yeah. No. Be of good behavior.
I know, pa say you go come after me, but don't worry. Everything is fine.
Yeah, so Amano, let's hear from you and then we close this session.
Oh, it's nothing. I don't have anything much to say though. Everything has been said already. So, as we have been assigned, let's do well to play our roles very well so that we can be able to attain the goals for the third parliament. I'm sure we should be able to work harder than what we did in the second and then the first parliament. It's also unfortunate that probably I may not be in who in the third parliament, but we'll still have to work our way out and see how possible we can make things brighter for youth impact parliament. So, Mr. Speaker, I thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Can someone give us the closing prayers? Closing prayers and then we close. Anyone?
Our speaker, have we heard him say something?
Yes, he already spoke, so. So please give us the closing prayers.
Yeah, I don't hear anything there.
Closing prayers. Okay. Father Lord, we thank you for the day, and as we have done this orientation, we pray members get oriented, and the ones who will not be out to tax, help us take care of them and remove them and replace them with people who will be out to tax before the inauguration. Amen. Thank you very much. And
I love your prayer. You are a member of Paradise International.